So first off, something that struck me is that I think just acknowledging that friendships change over time is huge. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of like life, right?
It is. It is. It's not like, oh, something's wrong because your friendships aren't the same as they were when you were 20.
Right. Like, our lives change. We move, we start families, our careers take off, priorities shift.
All of that. And so it's not even about judging those changes as good or bad. It's more about, just like you said, recognizing that they happen and then figuring out how to kind of adapt and communicate, because that's a big part of it too. But it also makes you think, like, what are the things that make a friendship truly dependable, as we grow and change? Think about it this way. If you were facing some kind of big challenge in your life, who comes to mind? Like, who would you turn to and why?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm kind of picturing it in my head. Makes you really zero in on it. And it's interesting. A lot of the research actually pointed to 3 really key qualities that come up again and again. Reliability, empathy, and shared values.
It's not just about showing up on time or remembering birthdays. It goes deeper than that.
Right.
It's about being consistent, dependable. It's about knowing that even when things get messy or you're going through a rough patch, this person's going to be a steady presence in your life.
I love that. Steady presence.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's like that friend who always calls you back, even if it takes them a couple of days.
Yeah.
And, they actually want to hear about what's going on with you. It's not just surface level stuff. They're there for the tough stuff, too.
And then there's empathy. This one's huge. As we get older, we all have more life experience, more baggage, good and bad. And an empathetic friend, they can meet you where you are emotionally. They don't jump in trying to fix everything or offer unsolicited advice.
It's not about that.
It's about listening, really listening, and making you feel seen and understood.
Yes, like they might not have gone through the exact same thing you have, but they can still validate your feelings and make you feel less alone in it.
Now, shared values. This is a really interesting one because I think it can really evolve over time,
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about that when I was reading about this. Like, maybe when we're younger, those shared values are more about, I don't know, taste in music or loving to travel or whatever.
Sure, totally.
But as we get older, maybe those values start to center more around family, community, or even political or spiritual beliefs. Things like that.
Absolutely. It becomes less about having identical viewpoints on everything and more about having a fundamental respect for each other's core principles.
That makes sense.
If that's there, you can disagree on certain things, but still have that deep trust and understanding.
But, it also feels important to talk about the flip side. Like, how do we recognize when a friendship maybe isn't as solid as we thought it was? Or maybe it's time to, take a step back.
Oh, that's so key. And one of the big red flags we saw over and over in the research was, one-sidedness. Like that friend who only calls when they need something, but they're never really there for you in return.
Ugh, yes. Or the friend who just constantly dumps their drama on you, but doesn't seem interested in what's going on in your life. It's so draining.
Totally. It can make you feel used, like, are you really my friend or am I just convenient for you? And, that rethinking, it can be hard, but it can also be so freeing. One of the most empowering things we can realize as we get older is that it's okay to have fewer friends. What matters is having deeper connections.
So it's quality over quantity when it comes to friendships. And sometimes letting go of those friendships that aren't really serving us anymore, that can actually make space for new, more fulfilling connections.
100%. It's about investing in our well-being and surrounding ourselves with people who truly, make our lives better.